markets are closed, but the business stories are just heating up. Hello, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Catch up with us on Business Brief. Asian stocks erase early gains as losses in Chinese shares offset optimism over progress towards ending the record-long U.S. government shutdown. South Korea's Kospi and Singapore's Straits Times edge higher, while most other Asian indices trade lower. In the currency market, the U.S. dollar holds steady against the Japanese yen, the Hong Kong dollar, and the Singapore dollar. The Australian dollar slips while the greenback strengthens against the South Korean won and the Thai baht. In commodities, gold edges up 0.4%, while oil prices remain mixed. In cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin slips 0.7%, and Ethereum posts a slight gain. U.S. President Donald Trump warns of economic disaster if the Supreme Court blocks his emergency tariff powers. Trump says his administration will give $2,000 payments to lower and middle-income residents using tariff revenues. Supreme Court justices have doubted his authority to impose sweeping tariffs against nearly every country. Trump also hails a decline in inflation, with food and energy prices falling since he took office. Warren Buffett is retiring as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway in January, but he's keeping a large stake in the company. The 95-year-old investor will hold his A shares as investors get used to his successor, Greg Abel. Buffett remains Berkshire's biggest shareholder with 30% of voting shares. Gold jumps nearly 3% overnight. The surge comes as signs emerge that the U.S. government shutdown is nearing an end. Gold trades above 4,100 level after the U.S. Senate approves a deal to restore federal funding. The bill now heads to the House, where Speaker Mike Johnson plans a Wednesday vote before it goes to President Donald Trump for his signature. Pope Leo XIV will host Hollywood stars at the Vatican this weekend. About 36 stars will attend, including Cate Blanchett, Chris Pine, Adam Scott, and director Spike Lee and Gus Van Sant. Leo, the first pope to hail from the U.S., wants to deepen dialogue with the world of cinema and see how artistic creativity can support the church and the promotion of human values. Last year, the late Pope Francis hosted comedians at the Vatican, including Conan O'Brien, Stephen Colbert, and Jimmy Fallon. We're taking a short break. More stories are coming up next. You're watching Business Brief. You're back on Business Brief. The Department of Agriculture is finalizing its plan to unlock technical aid from the World Bank. The $24.5 million grant outlines the DA's responsibilities and risks in the project. It also requires environmental and social safeguards, including a grievance system for farmers and communities. The agency's progress on risk management and stakeholder engagement will be monitored regularly. The grant is aimed at modernizing Philippine agriculture. The Philippines will host the 2026 United Nations Tourism World Forum on Gastronomy. Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco says the country is now a global hub for food and culture. The forum will bring together leaders, chefs, and innovators from more than 150 countries to advance sustainable food tourism. Filipino cuisine drives tourism, accounting for 8% of direct tourism value and 17% of visitor spending. Frasco calls food a, quote, feast for the palate and a force for empowerment, and says the forum will showcase the Philippines to the world. Data from the Bureau of Treasury show subsidies to government-owned and controlled corporations fell 50% in September. The Marcos administration grants 9.20 billion pesos to GOCCs, down from 18.22 billion last year. Major non-financial government corporations received 6.81 billion pesos, mainly for food stability and irrigation. Other government corporations got 2.39 billion pesos. The Philippine Stock Exchange imposes penalties on Maxis Group Incorporated for failing to comply with the amended minimum public ownership rule. The sanction comes under the exchange's consolidated listing and disclosure rules, which require publication of penalties. The measure is filed by Johan Daniel Negre of the exchange's disclosure department. Filipino investment firm Kaya Founders raises about 1.47 billion pesos to support tech startups in the Philippines and across Southeast Asia. The fund consists of two parts, a 0 to 1 pre-seed fund and a 1 to 10 seed to Series A fund. The enterprise plans to invest in 10 to 20 more startups across the region. Kaya Founders, one of the most active early-stage venture capital firms in the country, continues to back promising innovators and entrepreneurs. The Bureau of Customs says its revenue collection target for 2025 reached only 958 billion pesos. On Bilyonaryo News Channel's The Spokes, BOC spokesperson Vincent Philip Marunilla says the figure has dropped from 1.64 trillion pesos at the start of the year. He adds the agency has struggled in recent months due to volume-related challenges. He says the BOC hopes to recover by November or December.
We're trying to correct some of our valuation also and some revenue collecting efficiencies ng practices ng aming mga tao.
PLDT shows strong performance in 2025 with data and broadband services driving growth and free cash flow turning positive ahead of target. We now go to Paulo Barcelona in Makati City for the latest on the telco's performance. Hi, Paulo, go ahead.
My PLDT stays in the green despite market pressures in 2025. The telco posts 3% growth in gross service revenues, reaching 158.9 billion pesos in the first 9 months. Data and broadband services drive 85% of total revenues. EBITDA rises 3% to 82.8 billion, while capital spending drops to 43 billion pesos, reflecting what PLDT calls strong capex discipline. Free cash flow turns positive as of September, ahead of its 2026 target. In the wireless segment, Smart generates 63.2 billion pesos in revenues, boosted by 5G adoption with over 10 million devices active. PLDT Home adds more than 265,000 fiber subscribers, reaching 44.5 billion pesos in revenues. PLDT Enterprise sees gains from data center expansion and new government projects, including the Unified 911 system and airport modernization. Chairman Manny V. Pangilinan says the next challenge is to stand taller, delivering growth that reflects both effort and excellence. Strong numbers across wireless and broadband show PLDT's resilience and signal confidence in its growth strategy. And we also got some word from PLDT COO Butch Jimenez saying that restored services in areas that were affected by Super Typhoon Uwan has now reached at least 85%. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you for that report, Paulo Barcelona. Taking another breather, a look at how Philippine shares did today. When we return, stay tuned. Philippine Airlines posts a net income of $22 million in the third quarter of 2025. The airline says this marks a 62% year-on-year increase, showing resilience from its ongoing strategic transformation. Total revenue for the quarter rose 3% to $755 million, supported by higher flight operations and a steady passenger volume of 3.8 million. San Miguel Food and Beverage Incorporated reports a consolidated net income of 33.7 billion pesos for the first 9 months of 2025. The company says this is 11% higher than the same period last year. The growth is driven by strong performance across its food, beer, and spirits divisions. Apex Mining reports stronger earnings for the first 9 months of 2025, with net income hitting 5.45 billion pesos, up 78% year-on-year. The company credits higher gold and silver sales, strong global prices, and solid output from its Maco and Cignal mines. CEO Luis Sarmiento says Apex Mining stays agile with expansion plans in place despite challenges such as the October earthquake in Davao de Oro. Global Ferronickel Holdings reports strong profits for the first 9 months of 2025, with net income surging to 1.527 billion pesos. The company credits the gain to improved profitability and strong cost discipline. Earnings per share climbed to 30 centavos, up from 10 centavos a year ago. Filipino-American Maria Torres Springer joins Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani's transition team, bringing years of experience in New York City government. Mamdani early on has sent a clear signal. He plans to staff his administration with members of his young inner circle and more seasoned hands in government. Don Tagala has this report from New York.
Just hours after his historic election victory, Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani introduced the 4 women who will lead his transition team. Veteran public servants who have previously served Mayors Eric Adams, Bill de Blasio, and Michael Bloomberg. The team is tasked to map out Mamdani's first term in office to ensure his administration hit the ground running on day one.
And central to that effort is a transition team that is defined by the excellence New Yorkers will soon come to expect from government. Our team will be directed by Ilana Leopold. We will speak to the organizers on the front lines of the fight to improve our city, government veterans with proven track records, policy experts from around the country and the world, and working people who know better than anyone what their neighborhoods need.
Among the co-chairs is Filipino-American former First Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, a veteran public servant with years of experience in city government.
I remain deeply proud of the work that I did across 3 mayoral administrations to make our city more affordable and more just. This has been my life's work. And I'm eager to bring that experience, all of the lessons learned, what worked, what didn't, to help the mayor-elect achieve early, tangible wins for New Yorkers.
Torres Springer brings with her a portfolio that is aligned with the mayor-elect's policies on economic development, housing, and affordability. In 2015, Torres Springer served under former Mayor Bill de Blasio as the Commissioner of the NYC Department of Small Business Services before she was appointed as the President and CEO of the NYC Economic Development Corporation. De Blasio later on appointed her to lead the New York City Department of Housing. In 2021, then NYC Mayor-elect Eric Adams named Torres Springer the Deputy Mayor for Economic and Workforce Development. She was among the first Asian Americans, the first Filipina at that, to serve as deputy mayors of New York City. Torres Springer made history again in 2024, becoming the first deputy mayor of NYC after Sheena Wright's resignation from that position. In a 2024 PhilAm History Month celebration honoring Torres Springer, she told PhilAm community members that for her, public service is an act of love.
It's actually an act of unconditional love. You love because you know no other way than that. And I know no other way than to serve this city to the best of my ability. So I'm going to keep doing that until such time as I'm asked to leave.
The Los Angeles-born PhilAm lived in Pampanga, Philippines for economic reasons between the ages of 9 and 14. When she came back to the U.S., her family struggled making ends meet, relying on government's assistance to survive, giving her a first-hand experience on what it means when government works.
And I try never to forget what it's like to be a struggling family in the roles that I've had in public service, which has really been my life's work. I worked for the last 3 mayors. Being Filipino for me has been a real foundation for the type of public service that I think this city needs.
Torres Springer says no one works harder than she does, as no one works harder than Filipinos. Don Tagala, Bilyonaryo News Channel, New York.
Philippine shares further dropped to the 5,600 level. The PSEi closed over 1% lower at 56.29, making it the worst performer in Asia. Among the sectoral indices, only services ended in the green, with financial falling the most at 3%. Decliners outnumbered advancers 123 to 59, with value turnover reaching 8.6 billion pesos. Majority of the day's most active stocks were in the red, with BDO Unibank falling the most at nearly 5%. In the currency market, the peso is currently trading at 58.91 against the US dollar, stronger from the previous close of 58.96. That's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Join us again tomorrow as we bring you the stories that help you plan your next big, bold moves in business, only here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel.